Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, how you doing? How are you? This is the views expressed right here on the Free America Radio Network. Right here in your ears, and at some point in your eyes, you get to see my ugly mug. At some point, I'm going to go to live stream. I have no idea. Wow. Anyway, hang on. Let me do this for a minute here. If you're into liberty and libertarian values, tune in to The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, at radiofreedom.us.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Around the planet on the World Wide Web.
The storm is on the horizon. The system of government that we currently have in this country is collapsing. We are on the brink of total disaster as a nation, a people, and a planet. Who or what can save us? Listen to The Views Expressed live, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, at freeamericaradio.us. Folks, how you doing? You know, just a question. I have a question for you. It's a little question to pass your way. How do you see what is going on? How do you see what's going on? Okay. Do you look at what is happening and ask yourself why? I wanted to share that, and because I took a break a little early because somebody knocked on the door, that's why, just to let you know. Somebody knocked on the door, and so I wanted to go to break. So anyway, how do you see this? I mean, the real question is real simple. How is it that you and someone else, or you and a group of other people, cannot see things for what they are? Okay? How can you? I'm just curious. You know, I did a live Wayne S. Pierce show earlier today, and I talked about that, about interpretation, misinterpretation, and misdirection. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but I will say this. People are being misdirected. They're being misdirected into a whole different direction. And what it's doing from my point of view, actually, from my perspective, what that is doing is it's causing people to, honestly, not really care about what's going on around them. Okay? Take the Cloward and Piven method, take the George Orwell story of 1984, drop a little Animal Farm in there, and let's see, what else? Throw some Freemasonry philosophy in there, and you got yourself a screwed up world. Okay? You got yourself a screwed up world. My other question along with that is how do you, and this is more on a personal level, so I can't answer this except from my own perspective, but on a more personal level, how do you handle the changes taking place? A, they're showing you what they're doing, and B, they're telling you it doesn't exist, but things around you are changing. So how do you handle that? Okay. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check things out. I'm there now. This is from grassfire.com. The left moves to hush rush. Also from Mark Dice, top transhumanist. I will become God and kill anyone who tries to stop me. You better see that video. From Patrick Emery, Senate Democrats block joint inquiry into Benghazi attack. See, the Democrats are blocking any type of investigation into Benghazi because they don't want the truth to get out, because they hate the truth, they hate the facts. They don't want anybody to find out the crap that they're pulling against the American people. Oh, and guess what? The Republicans are not doing anything either. Okay? Police brag and laugh on camera about shooting a protester in the head with rubber bullets. Interesting. Highlight some things from yesterday. I find it incredibly odd, and I say this only because of the fact that I've spent many years researching this stuff, and I find it incredibly odd that that people don't want to know the truth. I'm serious. People don't want to know. People don't want to know the truth. It's just, it's odd to me, and I laugh and I chuckle because I think, God, how stupid can they be? Are their heads so far up their wazoo that they that they just come to the conclusion that they just don't really care anymore? You know? Hey, going to the Spreaker chat, I want to say hello to Apocalypse. Yes. So anyway, how do we manage, how have we managed all these years without questioning everything? Oh, wait, in the last 10 years, has it been that long? 10, 12, 14 years? In the last 10, 12, or 14 years, we began to question a lot. Now, within these last 5 years, it's ramped up a hell of a lot more because people are really sick and tired of the tyranny coming out of Washington, D.C., period. Done. And now, people are questioning the integrity and the sanity of those folks coming out of Washington, D.C. Well, there's a whole bunch of people in Washington, D.C. that just absolutely, positively have absolutely no clue what is going on. Okay? They don't care. They don't care. Why should they? You know? Why should they care? It just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, that they are the way they are. I just find it odd. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email address. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. From Grassfire. From Grassfire.com. The left moves to hush rush. Ron DeJong over there wrote this. Slipping poll numbers have Democrats seeing red and plotting to use the Federal Election Commission to intimidate and bully conservative media. People want to grab your favorite search engine and search that up. Federal Election Commission. According to the Daily Caller, FEC Chairman Lee E. Goodman warns that the federal government, including some officials in his office, may soon move to clamp down on conservative media. Can you say fairness doctrine? Specifically targeted will be their ability to endorse and promote candidates and issue without any limits or disclosure requirements. Let me read that again because this is very important. They're telling you exactly what they're going to do. According to the Daily Caller, FEC Chairman Lee E. Goodman warns that the federal government, including some officials in his office, may soon move to clamp down on conservative media. Specifically targeted will be their ability to endorse and promote candidates and issues without any limits or disclosure requirements. Goodman says, quote, "The right has begun to break the left's media monopoly, particularly through new media outlets like the internet. And I sense that some on the left are starting to rethink the breadth of the media exemption and internet communication," unquote. Okay? On the same page so far? Oppose efforts to silence conservative media. Unwilling to go quietly in defeat, Democrats are taking aim at conservative media, pushing for regulation that could, according to Goodman, lead to quote-unquote disparate treatment. Disparate treatment, D-I-S-P-A-R-A-T-E, of broadcasters such as Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity. If you oppose this desperate push to regulate and intimidate conservative media, including your internet experience, take immediate action. And there's a website that shows at grassfire.com/2014/oppose-FEC-regulation. There's a link there in the story. As soon as the petition crosses 50,000 signatures delivery threshold, or if events dictate otherwise, Grassfire representatives will hand-deliver your petition to key members of Congress and the FEC chairman. Again, if you oppose the left's latest attempt to regulate and potentially silence conservative speech, take immediate action. Now, I'm going to go far beyond that. Don't sign the petition. Don't sign the petition. Don't give it to Congress. Don't give it to FEC leadership. Don't do any of that. Okay? Just don't. Okay? What you need to do is you need to go out and you need to protest out in the streets and tell the Democrats, keep your damn hands off the conservatives, and tell the conservatives either ramp it up and get your word out and stand on the Constitution, or know when to fold them, know when to hold them, and get out of the game. Because if your politicians are not constitutional, if your sheriffs are not constitutional, if your police are not constitutional, if your highway patrol and state police are not constitutional, if your mayor, governor, or anybody else in your state capital is not constitutional, you need to get them out of office. So enough of signing petitions, enough of airing your disapproval with the liberals or conservatives or Democrats or Republicans. There is no such separation, folks. The Democrats are desperate to separate the two and be the only ruling party in America. Well, that was tried before, wasn't it? And it was called communism. By the way, did you know that I could be wrong in this? I'm just going to put that disclaimer out. But did you know that the person who started the Democratic Party was a communist? People of the world unite. Think about how, just not what it is, but think about how they're using the media and neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to get their word across, to try to brainwash you into thinking that they're right. That's the Democrat side of the equation on this one. The Republicans are sitting there waving their hands, trying to push them back. They're like your mom trying to push you out of the kitchen with the broom. Get out of here! I'm cleaning up. That kind of thing. And then the floor looks like crap, but mom gets distracted, and that kind of thing. But I'm just using that as an analogy. But there is no separation. But the Democrats are trying to separate everybody so that they can control everybody so that they can be the ruling party. Now, I could also say that about the Republicans, because look what they have done. Look what they have done. They've broken laws. They've violated constitutional rights. They bailed out banks and, so they're not angels in this either. I said this on the Wayne S. Pierce show earlier today. We need this system just to collapse, and we need to rebuild it on the Constitution. You and I, we the people, and others need to just say enough. We don't need this particular regime in the White House. What we need is to collapse the system, rewrite the policies in terms of localities in your states, and say, here's what we're going to do. The federal Constitution that our founding fathers put together in 1791, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, ratified December 15th, 1791, is what we will use as the rule of law. No Supreme Court justice is ever going to have their own personal agenda or political agenda. They're going to follow the Constitution, and that's just the way it is. Every single state has to follow the federal Constitution prior to 1871. Period. End of sentence. But every state has a right to govern their own selves. That's why you rewrite the policies per state. And don't get caught up in the minutia of, well, we can legalize and decriminalize marijuana. Well, I wish you would. We can legalize gay marriage. We can legalize all this. Really? What do you want? A positive outcome for your state or anarchy? Because sooner or later, somebody's going to get a wild hair up their butt and say, well, everything's legalized. I can do whatever I want now. No, because there's laws and you have to follow them. And besides, folks, as an analogy, just because the four-way stop at you're on a red light and the four-way stop is clear of any other cars doesn't mean you can go. Does it? So think about that one. Yeah, Apocalypse in the Spreaker. The granddaddy in the Spreaker chat. Man, my words are screwed up today. And he said, vote them all out and get some women with PMS issues. Just keep the big red button out of their reach every 28 days. And that is absolutely. No, is this country ready for a woman president? Oh, hell no. Because we all know who the women are going to come, circle their wagons around to protect her. And that would be, Miss Hillary. We don't want that troll in office, do we? All right? And believe it or not, I'm going to say this, and I'll put this on record. I don't even want Sarah Palin as president. Okay? You know, here's the bottom line, folks. Here's my point. We all got to think about what we're doing. We all got to look out, you know, and pay attention to what's happening around us. And we have to question everything. Well, question me. We got to do what we have to do to survive. We have to do what we have to do to bring this government back into some sort of resemblance of sanity. We have to use this phrase, inject some goodness into the White House. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot of hard work. There's going to be a lot of risks involved. Do I want this country to collapse? Yeah. Rebuild it constitutionally prior to 1871. You know what that means? No more hard or corporate money into political campaigns, period. If I was president, that'd be illegal. No more corporate dollars in politics, period. Oh, wait, somebody tried to do that. Not that specifically, but somebody tried to change things for the people. 2 people in history, I think, tried to do that. They wound up with bullets in their heads. Because our government, that is not yours and mine, but the corporation that runs this country, got sick and tired of all the saber rattling from the people who wanted the Constitution and right things and positive things. And, well, they had a president in 1960 that wanted to make changes that was going to put a black eye in the corporations. Well, guess what? November 22nd, 1963. I was a year and 4 months old at the time. Yeah, do the math. You'll figure out how old I am. And John F. Kennedy had half his head blown off because he wanted to change things for the people, not the corporations. And that was a setup as well. Robert F. Kennedy running for president. That was a setup. And guess what? Sirhan didn't do it. He was a patsy just like Lee Harvey Oswald. Go check it out. Connect the dots. And while you're at it, connect the money. Follow the money. You'll see where it came from. You'll see who had the advantage if John F. Kennedy was out of office. And that will lead you back to that big Texan, Mr. Lyndon Baines Johnson. Well, somebody wanted Robert Kennedy out of the way, so because he was Attorney General at the time his brother was president, and he put a big old black eye, kicked a few shins, and busted up organized crime. Now, somebody got a little pissed off at him, too. And because, well, let's just say our government has a cushy relationship with the organized crime syndicates. Yeah. Put 2 and 2 together, folks. This government is not run by you and I. It's not run by the politicians in Washington, D.C. It's not run by Congress. Because as Leon Panetta said a few years ago, and as Jeff Sessions questioned him in a hearing, Leon Panetta basically said that Congress was irrelevant and had no power. And with the EOs, the executive orders coming out of the White House by our, tyrannical leader, yeah, that pretty much verifies the fact that Congress has no power whatsoever, huh? So get over it, folks. Get your head out of the sand. Start looking at things. Start examining things. Start looking around and asking questions and paying attention, because I guarantee you, once you see the truth, you're going to do everything you can to get these morons out of office. Okay? I don't know what your beliefs are, and I don't know what your feelings are about this. But I can almost, and I could be wrong in this is why I say almost. I can almost tell that there are hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people out there that feel the same way I do. Collapse the country, rebuild it on the foundation and philosophies of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871, and we'll have the country that we want. We the people. Now, some might say that you're pushing us back 200 years. No. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. Remember that? We can take what we have now, create a better United States, not recreate the wheel, but make a better, much stronger, much more formidable country by telling OPEC, we're getting out. By telling the UN, you ain't getting nothing because we're leaving. By telling Mexico, your people deserve rights, you keep them over there, you give them the opportunities, because we're broke. We can't handle them anymore. I think the only other country we have a fairly good relationship with is Canada. Okay, so they're okay. I've been to Canada. Nice place up there, folks. So what's the whole idea? How can we change things to get these morons out of office? Well, word is that some members of Congress are proposing legislation to give Obama a third term. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. May 16th, coming up in 2 days. Washington, D.C., American Spring. Let's make damn sure these people know that we're out there. And if you can't make it to Washington, D.C., there's your state capital. Go there and make as much noise as you possibly can. Somebody might look at you and go, do you want bail money? Stand up for your rights, because each day, each second, each hour, you're losing them. Do you really want to walk around in a tyrannical third world country? I don't. I don't know, folks. I mean, you know, that's it's up to you, you know. That's entirely up to you. Folks, I'm going to take an early break. Take an early break. I usually take one here in about a minute, but I go a minute early. How's that? So whatever you got to do, go do what you got to do. So I'll be back in about 4.5 minutes. Stick around. This is the Views Express live right here on the Free America Radio Network. You can go to freeamericaradio.us or email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups. This is the world we live in. It is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com. Waking up the masses. Truth, knowledge, and wisdom for your consumption. Waking up the masses. News and views concerning the New World Order. Waking up the masses. Join Bob Brutus as he pulls back the curtain on the esoteric agenda which has been in play for a millennia. Waking up the masses. WakingUpTheMasses.com. The President of the United States turns the country into a dictatorship. And what happens after he does? Find out in the book Dictator-in-Chief by Brian Keller. Available at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/eastlandfilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. What is there to do on a Friday night? Why not listen to Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, on Spreaker.com. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Tearing down the walls that stand between freedom and tyranny, revealing who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, sharing the truth one fact at a time, broadcasting from behind enemy lines, from the biggest little city in the world. This is The Views Expressed Live. Hey folks, how you doing? This is The Views Expressed Live right here on the Free America Radio Network. How are you? It is the 14th of May, 2014. Yes, how are you? Hey, Mr. Bob Brutus. Go check him out. Kicking the Capstone on WakingUpTheMasses.com. Also check out Brian Lang with Live Truth Radio. on LiveTruthRadio.com or WakingUpTheMasses.com. Yes, things are changing. Seems like every 5 minutes something is changing. I got word that let's just say a little bird told me that there's a new social networking site coming up. More about that later. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. You want to watch the video from Mark Dice, top transhumanist, says, "I will become God and kill anyone who tries to stop me." Wow. Kind of an arrogant SOB, wasn't he? Not Mark Dice, but the person that is in the video. You got to check it out. From the freethoughtproject.com. Police brag and laugh on camera about shooting a protester in the head with rubber bullets. Elizabeth Ritter was shot 4 times with rubber bullets by police while she was protesting a free trade summit in Miami. This horrifying example truly shows the disconnect between police and the citizens they pose as protecting and serving. The police actually laugh at their victims, in spite of the news cameras and hundreds of witnesses of which they were certainly aware. Arrogant and unchecked power now threatens to be the norm for ever-increasing riot police. While this video is almost 8 years old, it is more relevant now than ever as the trend of police violence escalates unchecked. We saw the same arrogant jackboot mentality in January of this year after 2 Fullerton, California cops were acquitted of the murder of Kelly Thomas, a Fullerton resident who was arrested after protesting the acquittal of the officers involved in the death of Kelly Thomas, said that police laughed and joked about having a license to kill while asserting, quote, "There's a pack of 12 cops waiting to smash your effing faces in," unquote. As long as the institution remains, the corruption and abuse will remain. It is time to imagine a post-police world. Post-police world. Granted, let me say this. I'm all for having some sort of law enforcement in a city. I am all for having the opportunity for people to, have justice served. I'm all for that. I'm all for the basic principles of justice and the justice system working for the benefit of the people. I just don't want the corrupt BS that's there now. Okay? That's where I stand. As we look at what is going on around us, as we hopefully pay attention to what is happening, as is happening there in that video on that page, you can click on that. We need to pay attention also to people such as these ministries in these churches, like in Daytona Beach, Florida yesterday that I talked about, where a couple who runs a ministry was banned because of their act of charity. It was in a park at there in Daytona Beach, Florida. Manatee Park in Daytona Beach. Yeah, they were banned. They were also fined $375. You know why they were banned? Because the city has organizations and offices and departments that do that. In other words, they have bureaucracies that will shove these homeless people under the rug. Out of sight, out of mind, apparently. But these ministries do what they do to feed these homeless people. And I'm sure it's true in your city as well. But in Daytona Beach, no. You don't have a right to peaceably assemble with people. That's a violation of the First Amendment right. The city is violating that right of those people to peaceably assemble. They don't. The ministry doesn't have a right to feed people because of whatever, the city deems to be wrong about it. So I would suggest to you, my listeners, to check with your city and ask them, are you against me feeding the homeless? Hey, if they're going to use neuro-linguistic programming against you, you might as well learn about it and use it against them. Find out what you can do. And as I said to people yesterday on air, to my listeners in Daytona Beach, Florida, if there are any, there should be this weekend or next, or even in the summer, which is a couple of weeks from now, there should be 400, 500, 600 people, ministries, anybody out there in that park, in Manatee Park in Daytona Beach, feeding homeless people. And if the city has something to say about it, yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll bring in the Federal Protective Service Police, Homeland Security Police to tell you just how disappointed they are that you're not following their rules. You need to protest, folks, is what I'm saying. You need to get up off your ass. You need to go out there. You need to defend your right to feed these people who are homeless. And don't trust the government. I don't trust the government. You need to go out and take care of what you have to take care of by any means necessary. And if that means you get 300 people together to feed the homeless and 300 people surrounding them, that's 600 people, with signs saying how unconstitutional Daytona Beach politicians are, then you must do that. Because that many people in a park protesting against something like feeding the homeless, when that gets on, the news nationally and locally, oh, I guarantee you there's going to be a backlash against that city. Correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't the city violating your constitutional right of the First Amendment to peaceably assemble? Well, who says you can't have a picnic and invite 600 people to it? Free America Radio on Facebook. Scroll on down. Give you some highlights from yesterday. DavidIke.com. Danish police confirm Marriott hotel site of Bilderberg 2014. Folks, that is the big head honchos who actually control every single corporation in the world, who influence presidential elections, and even governorships, by the way. Not all of them, just most of them. Danish police confirmed that the Marriott Hotel in Copenhagen will be the site of the 2014 Bilderberg meeting of global power brokers. Although there had been some doubt as to whether the five-star hotel would be the venue for this year's secretive confab due to its city location and close proximity to a busy road, authorities have now confirmed that Bilderberg will meet there from May 29th to June 1st. Police have also made a large parking lot situated opposite the hotel available for protesters, although the police HQ is reportedly located near this site, enabling authorities to keep a close watch on demonstrators. Okay. The area where demonstrators will congregate is not more than 20 meters from the Marriott Hotel, meaning protesters and media will be able to get a lot closer to arriving Bilderberg members compared to last year when they were penned into a field half a mile away from the Grove Hotel in Watford, England. InfoWars reporters will be on the ground in Copenhagen to cover the event with live video streaming and regular updates. The elitist organizations, which meet on an annual basis either in Europe or the United States or Canada, is comprised of some of the most powerful heavyweights of industry, banking, politics, royalty, academia, and technology. Last year, the likes of Jeff Bezos, Timothy Geithner, Christine Lagarde, Henry Kissinger, and Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands, and British Prime Minister David Cameron were all in attendance. While the mainstream media habitually fails to afford Bilderberg the press coverage it demands, characterizing the group as a mere talking shop, innumerable examples of the organization having a direct impact on global policy has been documented in recent years, leading to charges that the group is fundamentally undemocratic in nature. This has led to bigger and bigger anti-Bilderberg demonstrations in recent years, including last year in Watford, UK, when thousands of people attended an event that was held in the grounds of the Grove Hotel, where Bilderberg was holding its meeting. In 2010, former NATO Secretary General and Bilderberg member Willy Claes admitted that Bilderberg attendees are mandated to implement policy decisions that are formulated during the meeting. There are innumerable other examples of how Bilderberg has influenced major global events ahead of time, picking presidents and prime ministers on a regular basis with total contempt for the democratic process. Last year, Italian lawyer Alfonso Luigi Mara requested that the public prosecutor of Rome investigate the clandestine organization for criminal activity, questioning whether the group's 2011 meeting in Switzerland led to the selection of Mario Monti as Prime Minister of Italy. In 2009, Bilderberg chairman Etienne Davignon even bragged about how the euro single currency was a brainchild of the Bilderberg group. See, folks, our process in America is a total and absolute fraud. Your votes don't count. They never have. They never will. In Chantilly, Virginia in 2008, I think it was 2008, and when President-elect Barack Obama had a clandestine meeting at the Marriott Hotel with Hillary Clinton, things changed. Did they not? Now, you might think, well, we still have voting. No, your votes don't count, folks. It's a fraud. It doesn't even pay to go to the polls anymore. But I'm not saying not to. Because I'm going to say this. In a way, and this may sound contradictory, but it's not because I'm going in a different direction here. In a way, your votes do count. What you don't vote for counts. And sends a big old message to the power brokers. We've had enough of your crap. So boycott the elections. Those people who are still asleep and unaware and have no clue and are total sheep. Oh, they'll just, wander on into the polls and into the ballots and click whatever and hope everything goes well, just as long as they can get home and see Game of Thrones or watch their stupid sports programs. They don't really care. Nobody's awake. Nobody's aware. Nobody wants to even care about this country anymore. 3 to 5% of the people in 1775 and 76 got sick and tired of King George taxing them for tea. So guess what they did? They got up off their ass and went and did something. We have a hell of a lot more people nowadays than we did 238 years ago. I think you have the opportunity now to change things and to change the direction of the United States of America. If you don't, I could say a few choice words, but all I will say is this. Pack your bags and move to Canada, move to China, move to Russia, move to... I don't care. Just get the hell out of the United States because you don't like freedom and liberty. You want to stay on the Democratic side of the equation and play your little games. It ain't going to work. I'm fully aware of who you are. Pack your bags, get your crap, and get the hell out of my country. Okay? And that's just the way it is. Now, a lot of people get all pissed off at me and say, well, everybody has a right to say what they want to say, and everybody has, a right to vote the way they want, and all this and the other. Well, okay, I applaud you for that. Great. But if all you want is the same old status quo, then you ain't got brains enough to even tie your shoes. Here, let me take care of that for you. You obviously cannot. Why are you talking down to people? I'm not. I'm being sarcastic. There's a difference. Free America Radio on Facebook. Not much there today because I haven't put up much. I was talking to somebody earlier, actually posting something earlier about R. Hunter Biden, who is the Joe Biden's son, appointed as director of Ukraine's largest gas company, and was mentioning that there was a connection. Well, it's called cronyism, folks. A family friend, actually, I think, related to John Kerry, is also part of that, going to be part of the largest oil company, gas company in the Ukraine. So, is there a connection? Yeah, of course there is. I always wondered, well, wasn't there someone else who was much more qualified, if not just as qualified as R. Hunter Biden to take the lead in all of that? Probably, but guess what? The United States wanted their hand in the pie. The power brokers told the minions in Washington, D.C., this is what you're going to do. And here's the person you're going to put in charge. Oh, and by the way, we want somebody to watch over him. How about John Kerry's stepson? Now, he's Secretary of State. He can go all over the place. He's got ample opportunity to go into the Ukraine and talk to these people. Dun-da-da. Connect the dots, folks. Follow the money. You know? How is it that you can sit there, watch your stupid TV, and watch your state-run media lie to you like that? How can... They're not going to talk about the Bilderberg Group. They're not going to talk about any of this. Do you know why? Because that's not in their script. Yeah. Folks, it's all a fraud. When you look back at the actual history of this country, when you look back at the actual processes from the 1700s, 1775 on up, when you look at the processes of this country and how it became what it is today, you'll see that it's all every, thing, about, well, you can vote and get this, you can vote and get that, and we have this process and we have this. Let me just break it down for you in hot dogs and potato chip language for you. Okay? They're lying to you through their teeth. And they're making that lie sound so good that they want you to believe them. And guess what? You are, sheeple. So I think it's time you do what you have to do. It's time that you do what you have to do and stand up for what you believe in. Because if you don't, it's going to be gone. Because right now I feel anxiety in the air. I feel anxiety from other people because, like them, I'm thinking this country's going to collapse. When? I have no idea. It could be a year from now. It could be a month from now. It could be tomorrow. I don't know. But that anxiety is building up and building up and building up. So you got to go out and do what you got to do and take care of what you got to take care of. You know? I'm going to do this. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do this. Is Reuters, a good paper, a good site? Yeah, I would think so. FBI plans cybercrime crackdown, arrests coming in weeks. New York Times unexpectedly replaces top editor Abramson. France issues law to block foreign takeovers of strategic firms. Okay. Furious Turks heckle Erdogan after at least 274 die in mine disaster. Let's take a look at this one, folks, shall we? FBI plans cybercrime crackdown. Arrests coming in weeks. Jim Finkel and Joseph Menn over at Reuters. Thank you, guys. The FBI is getting more aggressive in pursuing cyber criminals and expects to announce searches and indictments and multiple arrests over the next several weeks, the agency official in charge of combating cybercrime said on Wednesday. Quote, "This is a philosophy change. If you're going to attack Americans, we are going to hold you accountable," unquote. And FBI's Robert Anderson told the Reuters Cyber Security Summit in Washington, quote, "If we can reach out and touch you, we are going to reach out and touch you," unquote. Anderson said the FBI would show, quote, "a much more offensive side," unquote, to its cyber program, which he took over in March. He cited the previously unreported indictment of Dmitry Belorusov, as I don't know how to pronounce that name, as an example of the recent success in agency's battle against cybercrime. The Russian national was arrested at an airport in Spain last year and lost an extradition battle after being accused of running a botnet that attacked some 7,000 Americans, a case that Anderson said was relatively small compared to some that are on or in the FBI's pipeline. Still, the arrest was one of the few that prompted Russia to warn its citizens to be careful traveling to countries having extradition treaties to the United States. Anderson said the FBI would not be deterred from pressing charges against suspected cybercriminals who lived in countries that refused to cooperate in extraditing them. In the past, the agency has avoided naming overseas suspects in cases where they could not be extradited in a bid to avoid embarrassing other nations. Quote, "There's a lot of countries that will not extradite. That will not stop us from pressing forward and charging those individuals and making it public," unquote. Anderson said more criminal hackers are going to be arrested under this watch rather than turned into sources of knowledge about how the underground operates. But there can be exceptions when it comes to national security priorities, he added. Most notably, the leader of Lulzsec hacking group, Hector Monsegur, is that what it is? Has had his sentencing delayed more than a half a dozen times as he cooperates and helps break into the high-value intelligence targets overseas, according to court records. Anderson declined to say how many such hackers are helping the government in that way. Jim Lewis, a senior fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies with strong ties to the intelligence community, estimated that the FBI might work with about a dozen such hackers, more than in the previous years. Anderson declined to comment on the status of the probe into a weeks-long cyber attack on retailer Target Corporation that came to light in December. The investigation is being led by the Secret Service. There you go, folks. There you go. What do you do? Hey, get off those porn sites. By the way, just to let you know, let's just lay it out for you. The porn industry is run by the government. Go look it up. Connect the dots. There it is. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, and the website is freeamericaradio.us.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the mainstream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city, killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Club.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
This Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
you saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever. SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, no, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey, folks, how you doing? This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Expressed live right here for the 14th of May, 2014. 5/14/14. Hey, isn't that great? Okay. Anyway, how are ya? Go ahead, make my day. Anyway, folks, how y'all doing today? It's hump day. It's all downhill from here, isn't it? It's all working to the weekend. Hey, lots of things happening. Go to Drudge Report, if you would, please. Let's follow some of the things over there. Now, I want to say this. I'm going to make this very, very clear. I hope that what I give you and the articles and the websites and all of that, I hope that you will take the time to to check this stuff out. Okay? Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about. And I don't usually get into stuff that sounds so science fiction, you know, but it's not anymore. It's like conspiracy theories. There are none. It's all fact now. It's all right out in front of your face. Open up and learn about it. From collective-evolution.com, ex-DARPA director and Google exec pushes microchipping human beings. With the recent revelations by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden, it's no secret that we live on a planet characterized by mass surveillance and virtually zero privacy. This was put up today, as a matter of fact, the 14th of May, 2014. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded with the idea that we face threats, that a high level of national security is needed in order to keep us safe. Think about it. The United States pumps a large majority of their money into the Department of Defense. A state of fear, war, and terror is needed to keep those funds flowing in that direction. Many people are starting to wake up and realize a lot of the so-called threats we face and have been facing are largely manufactured and fabricated, if I can say the word, in order to justify a specific agenda, agendas that deal with the black budget world. Quote, "It is ironic that the U.S. would begin a devastating war, allegedly in search of weapons of mass destruction, when the most worrisome developments in this field are occurring in your own backyard. It is ironic that the U.S. should be fighting monstrously expensive wars, allegedly to bring democracy to those countries, when itself can no longer claim to be called a democracy, when trillions, and I mean thousands of billions of dollars, have been spent on projects with which both Congress and the Commander-in-Chief know nothing about." Paul Hellyer, former Canadian Defense Minister. It doesn't stop there. Remember when credit and debit cards changed into one with a chip? That could be you in a few years, as multiple corporations are pushing to microchip the human race. In fact, microchip implants in humans are already on the market. For example, an American company called Applied Digital Solutions, go look them up, Applied Digital Solutions, has developed one approximately the size of a grain of rice and has already had it approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for distribution and implementation. Below there's a video in this article. Ask yourself, What if this becomes a requirement for authentication and identification to withdraw money or to go to the grocery store? Would you do it? Let me interject something here, folks. Back in the mid-90s, probably somewhere about 97, 98, I remember reading an article back then and putting information together for for something I was doing at that time. And I read from Gauteng, or as you would know it, Johannesburg, South Africa, there was RFID chips on certain products in a store, and they tested this. An American corporation with foreign investment tested this. And what they did is they microchipped, they RFID chipped the products. They put these products in a grocery cart. They ran this grocery cart under what looked like a half of a CAT scan type of thing, but much smaller. And just like that, all of those products were taken out, were already registered, taken out, boom, your money's gone, bang, you just pack it up and out the door you went. That was in the late 90s. I've known about microchipping and about RFID technology since 1988, 89. And I was living here in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, at the time. And when I moved back to California in 92, I found a friend of mine and we were talking, and he literally said that the information that he received from a very reliable source said that the technology is there. The equipment to do the microchip implant in humans is there. The technology to read that chip is there. This was in 94, folks. This is what started me looking into RFID and all of that. Now, let me continue on with this article. These microchips would be implanted under the skin and allow the wearer's movement to be tracked and store personal information about them. This kind of reminds me of George Orwell's Big Brother police state, doesn't it? Or I said me. This kind of reminds us of George Orwell's Big Brother police state, doesn't it? According to a report drawn up by a team of academics for then Britain's Information Commissioner Richard Thomas in 2006, within the next couple of years, our almost every movement, purchase, and communication could be monitored by a complex network of interlinking surveillance technologies, if it isn't already. This isn't about safety or national security. It's about controlling the human population even more so than it is today. We live in an illusion of freedom where our potential as a human race to create something better is not wanted. We spend our entire lives working and acquiring little pieces of paper to gather the necessities we need. And in doing so, we become blind to what is really happening on, to, and around our planet. I said it before, folks. I'll say it again. Pay attention. Money should never come in the way of necessity. And we have the potential to create a world where everybody's needs are provided for. From that place of freedom, just imagine what we can do. We have the potential and we have the power to do it. We just have to open our eyes and realize it's possible. Those who monitor us so closely don't really want to see us thrive, and it seems that they really don't care about us. The power does not lie with them. It lies with us. My emphasis. At any time we can choose to wake up and change the way we do things here on the planet. Not many people are reasoning with the state, not many people are resonating with the state of our world today, and more people are starting to realize not many people are resonating with the state of our world today, and more people are starting to realize that we can do something about it. That just verified everything I've been saying, didn't it? Let me tell you what my pet peeve is, folks. Ignorant people. Okay, let me just give it to you hot dog potato chip fashion. Stupid people. I'm done with stupid people. I'm done with people that ignore the obvious. I'm done with people who don't want to look out beyond the limitations that they set up around them. Have you ever talked to someone? I mean, I'm sure you've run into these types of people. You talk to someone and you start telling them what's happening around the town. Hey, did you know that this and that? You start telling them what's going on. What's the first thing they respond with? I don't want to hear it. Why? Because they don't want the truth. They don't want the facts. They don't want to step out beyond the boundaries of the limitations they put around themselves or that others put around them. And they don't want to break free of their little cookie cutter world that they live in. That they're deluding themselves with all of the preconceived ideas that they can think of. Well, if I did this, this will happen. If I did that, that'll happen. If I change my way here or make this or do that. Folks, they're living in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. And to use another analogy, this isn't Kansas anymore, Toto. Now, I don't like being mean or nasty or ugly or getting up in people's faces, but I will if I have to. Because that's just some of the things you have to do to get people to pay attention. Okay? Do I really have to walk up to you and piss down your leg and tell you it's raining? No. But that's what they're doing to you. They're pissing in your face and telling you that you're sweating because it's a hot day. Wake up. A lot of people just don't want to know the truth because they don't care. They don't care. They don't have this idea that something could be wrong. They don't. But just in that thought alone, folks, I want to say this. If you really want to see who's behind, I mean, I'm pulling away the curtains, pulling away the veil, showing you who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Do you want to know the names, places, dates, and how they were created? Go listen to Kicking the Capstone with Bob Brutus on wakingupthemasses.com. You want to know dates, places, why, where's, the associations with Washington, D.C. and all that? Go listen to him. And go listen to his other show, Waking Up the Masses. Because he's out there just like us, just like myself, Brian Lang, Nick Tucker, Pete Santilli. We're out there telling you exactly what's going on. And you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. You need to have the proverbial rug pulled out from underneath of you where you do a face plant in the concrete in front of you. This is what you need, folks, and I hope, I know I'm being very, very graphic at times. But I hope that what I say, in the way that I say it, helps you understand what's going on and you can start putting connect the dots together and follow the money and look what's happening. And I hope that I encourage you to go out and search this stuff out yourself, because if you don't believe me, the only way you're ever going to believe it's true is if you go and find it yourself. Oh, and by the way, I already know what some people are going to do. They're going to sit there and go, I'm going to prove this guy wrong because he's a conspiracy theorist. Really? Bring it. I'll blow holes in every single theory you got, jackass. Put your information on the table. We'll talk about it. We'll debate it. I'll show you what I have in the last 35 years of research. What do you got? 5 minutes on the internet? Dude, before there was an internet, I went to the San Joaquin County Library and looked most of this stuff up myself. So I don't want to hear it anymore. You want to debate with me? Let's go. You ain't got stuff to back up what you say? Bye. Have a nice day. Yeah. See what I mean? I'm tired. I'm done with stupid people. I'm just done with ignorant people who ignore the obvious every single day. I'm done with them. I'm just done with them. Go away. Bye-bye. Drink your, fluoridated water. Eat your GMOs. Bye-bye. Kick your feet up on your footstool and watch your stupid reality shows and your dumb sports programs. Go ahead. Have a nice day. Enjoy. By the way, while you're getting comfortable, expect a knock at the door and have DHS haul your ass out of your house and take you to a FEMA camp near you. Have a nice day, folks, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. Have an emergency food supply available when you need it. You never know when the next power outage or natural disaster will happen. Are you prepared when it does? Go to Free America Radio Network website and click on the Store tab and get your emergency food supply now. Go to freeamericaradio.us. A natural disaster could happen at any time. Be prepared. Go to freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab to get your emergency food supply today. That's freeamericaradio.us and click on the Store tab and prepare in case something happens. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com. Imagine a towering skyscraper with numerous floors, and each floor represents a different level of existence. Matter, spirits, angels, ghosts, extraterrestrials, quantum physics, biology, neuroscience, religion, metaphysics, even paranormal studies, all have their place in The Grid. The Grid, exploring the hidden infrastructure of reality, by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. Tearing down the walls that stand between freedom and tyranny, revealing who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, sharing the truth one fact at a time, broadcasting from behind enemy lines, from the biggest little city in the world. This is The Views Expressed Live. Hey, folks, yes, this is The Views Expressed Live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Come join Diana Nelson and I on Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday night, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Yeah, it's a grab bag, so we talk about anything under the sun, and I'm sure we'll have something to talk about. So anyway, oh my goodness, folks. Goodness gracious sakes alive. Oh, what do we do? You know, here's a question. I got a question for you. It's just, it's just a question, all right? Just a question. Got a question for you. If you had the opportunity to change things in your city, your county, your state, or your country, what would be the first thing you would do? Seriously. What would be the first thing you would do? Kind of hard, isn't it? It's kind of a difficult question to answer due to the fact that so many things change, and understand this. It's the pond in the pebble. Okay? So if you change one thing, other things are going to change. If you change things for the positive, something negative is going to happen on the other end. Or if you change things and create ways to get rid of crime, what else is going to happen? Okay? So this article I read about chipping people. How is that going to affect society? They've already talked about that back in the early 90s. I remember hearing about it in the late 80s. I remember hearing about shadow governments, which I started investigating and researching back in the late 70s. I was in high school, folks. President Carter was in the White House. That takes me back a while. But that's when I started looking into this. You think you have the right to vote for whoever you want? No. Why do you think Obama got a second term? Had a lot to do with the fact that he ran against somebody who was just a complete moron. Oh, Mormon, sorry. I'm not saying all Mormons are bad. I'm just joking, okay? So put down your Bibles and your other things. No, he won because people have this attitude of gimme, 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 gimme. Obama phones. Did you hear? I have a clip, and I don't have it on here, but I have a clip. You've heard it, where that woman says, well, I don't have to worry about anything, and my car payment will be paid, and my house payment will be paid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I wonder how they're liking the president now. Yeah, they want, you know who voted Obama back into office for the second term? People that wanted free stuff. Uh-huh. People that wanted free stuff. Okay? Now, the other thing that in that same line is that when people want free stuff, and like I said, if there was one thing that you could change if you were president, what would it be? Or, if you could change things, what would it be? We live in a country where people want free stuff. And you notice they don't have any dignity or self-respect. Yeah, I know I'm going to get hate mail for that one. I don't care. I've pointed it out before in previous, episodes. These people have no self-respect, no dignity, no nothing. They just want to have everything given to them and not have to work for it. Or if they have to work for it, they want more than what they're working for. Hence the idea of raising the minimum wage. Yeah, one store just went, really? You want me to raise the minimum wage? Okay, I'm putting in kiosks for the customers to punch in what they want. No more cashiers. We're not raising the minimum wage. We're installing these things to eliminate jobs. Oh, yeah, I know. The automobile assembly line came along. It was computerized many years ago, or, worked on in that regard, and it was called progress. No, it eliminated a whole bunch of jobs. People had to get retrained, blah, 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 right? And besides, machines don't ask for union wages, do they? See where that's going? By the way, just on that specific thing, you need to understand that people want free stuff. They want more than what they, people don't want to pay a mortgage. People don't want to pay rent. People don't want to pay for anything. But look at the lifestyle that they lead. Look where they're at. Look at what part of the city they're in. Now, I know that people are legitimately disabled and they get stuff from the state, and I understand that. And if they're legitimately disabled, fine. Okay, not a problem. Let's help those people out as much as we possibly can. But those people that are playing the system, gaming the system to get what they want, well, those people either need to have everything taken away from them, or they need to go to jail, or they need to do the responsible thing and get up off their ass and go get a job. Well, there's no jobs in the area. Well, go where the money is. I don't care if you live in California and there's a job in Texas. What the hell are you doing in California? If you live in Nebraska and there's jobs in Georgia, what? I myself personally would think that the smarter thing to do is to go where the money is at. Okay? Now, I'm getting conflicting stories from the state of Montana. Montana's nice. I've been up there. Great Falls, Billings, Helena. Love the place. It's beautiful up there. Great country. You can walk around with your sidearm on. Nobody's going to bother you. Okay? Yeah, it's great. There's, over on the east side of Montana, over by Sydney and other places like that, into North Dakota, Williston. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. But prices are high. Because over on the east side of Montana, on the west side of North Dakota, that's oil country. So a one-bedroom apartment is going to cost you about $2,000 a month, if not more than that. So if you go to places like that, expect to be paying a hell of a lot more for everything that you... So to get things free, nope. Nope. You ain't getting it. You better get your butt into a job. You better find something, because you're going to be sitting on your butt and getting nothing. Okay? I don't know what their system is up there as far as unemployment or Social Security disability or whatever. I don't know. I haven't gone that far to investigate. But I can tell you this. I do agree with people that say there's jobs out there if you want to work. And these people who just want to sit on their ass and do nothing, and not work and play the system and game the system for everything it's got and get whatever it is they want, well, guess what? Yeah. There's this little thing called karma. Yeah, it usually works. So think about it. I got my Obama phone. Look at this. That lady was on, I forget her name now, but she was on twice. She was on InfoWars, on that show, on Alex Jones' show. And Alex convinced her, literally, that Obama's wrong. Okay? So, let's just go from there. But anyway, I digress. Not so much. I rant. I go off on different tangents. Go to drudgereport.com. I clicked on a link from the endoftheamericandream.com. Endoftheamericandream.com. Life as we know it is about to change. Transhumanists, superhuman powers, and life extension technology will allow us to become like God. Michael Snyder over there posted this yesterday. If you could merge your current mind and body with technology that would give you superhuman powers and would allow you to live forever, would you do it? It's a good question, isn't it? This is essentially what the transhumanism movement is seeking to accomplish. Transhumanists envision a day when technology will allow humanity to become so advanced that sickness, disease, poverty, and war will essentially be eradicated. Interesting. I read a story some years ago about the world being under a one-world leader who eliminated starvation and wars and... Interesting. Continuing, they believe that merging with machines will permit us to become trillions of times more intelligent than we are today. And they also believe that radical life extension technologies will make it possible for humanity to actually achieve immortality. Many transhumanists are convinced that such a world can be achieved within their lifetime. They point to Moore's law and to the fact that technology already appears to be growing at an exponential rate. As the technology curve continues to steepen, transhumanists believe that our world will rapidly become transformed into a place that would be unrecognizable to us today. Just a few decades from now, transhumanists believe that superhuman powers and extremely advanced life extension technologies will allow them to essentially become like gods. The key moment that most transhumanists are looking forward to is known as singularity. Go to kurzweileai.net. That is the moment when artificial intelligence will actually surpass human intelligence and a massive technological chain reaction will be triggered. Remember, pebbles in a pond? At that time, most transhumanists believe that biological intelligence will merge with non-biological intelligence and humanity will become vastly more intelligent than it is today. During this transition, society will be fundamentally transformed. Quote, after the singularity occurs, it is predicted that vast changes will sweep through society, changes so drastic that they are nearly inconceivable at the present time. Experts in the movement say that after the singularity, indefinite human life extension will rapidly become the norm. Many scientists working in this field are particularly interested in the concept of achieving immortality, unquote. To most people, the idea of achieving immortality in our decaying physical bodies would sound absolutely ridiculous. But transhumanists are very serious about this. One way they are seeking to accomplish this is by searching for a method that will enable them to store the human mind on a computer. If your entire consciousness could be, quote-unquote, uploaded to a computer, it could conceivably later be downloaded into a futuristic avatar of some sort once that technology has been developed. Go to 2045.com, 2045.com. That's exactly what they're talking about. Continuing, but that is not the only life extension technology that transhumanists are working on. Some other examples include embedding nanobots in our bodies and brains and eliminating disease through the process of, quote-unquote, genetic reprogramming. Quote, other futurists and transhumanists are working toward improving longevity through more biological means, such as growing new organs from stem cells, replacing worn-out body parts of the body with high-tech updated models, and curing diseases through genetic reprogramming. A third method of achieving a transhuman state of being may come through merging the biological and non-biological in equal measure, such as embedding nanobots into the bloodstream and brain and replacing atoms with nanocomputers to solve the degeneration that comes with aging, unquote. According to the transhumanists, not only will we be able to live much longer, but our quality of life will also be so much better in the future. The following is how one transhumanist envisioned what life will be like in the 2050s. Quote, robots have become an important family acquisition. Ability to replicate self-assembling robot parts in nano factories make these machines easily available and affordable. By 2050, technologies advancing at Moore's Law speeds have produced an android-like creature nearly indiscernible from a human. Programmed with internet-downloaded software, 2050's household robots cater to our every whim. They also manage the nano robots that whiz through our veins, keeping us healthy 24/7 and monitoring our safety when we connect to simulation events that whisk us away in a Star Trek holodeck-like adventure. That sounds wonderful, doesn't it? But how will we earn money to pay for all these things? If robots are so advanced at that point, why would companies even need workers? Or will we have to enhance ourselves with technologies as to be useful in the workforce? In a recent article by Andrew Smart, he suggests that these enhancements could just turn us into better slaves. Quote, could it be that we've been tricked into pouring our innovative energy into making ourselves better slaves? If the digital elite achieves its dreams of a perfect union with machines, what becomes of the rest of us who either can't afford cyborgification, that's a new word, cyborgification, or who actually enjoy life as a regular human being? Would one singularitized human be expected to handle the workload of 100 enhanced workers? Robots will have, of course, taken the rest of the jobs, unquote. In fact, robots are already taking our jobs at a staggering pace. This is even happening in low-wage countries such as China. Chinese company Hanhai, the world's largest contract electronics manufacturer, has announced it intends to build a robot-making factory and replace 500,000 workers with robots over the next 3 years, unquote. But transhumanists are not really concerned with such matters. They insist that we will become so intelligent that we will easily figure out the solutions to such social issues. Yes, most transhumanists concede that there will be bumps on the road to utopia, but they argue that it would be foolish not to, quote, take control of our own evolution, unquote. They believe that we can use science and technology to guide the evolution of society, and that this will create a far better world than we have today. The following is what one participant stated at a recent conference about transhumanism and religion. Quote, transhumanism is a thrust towards transcendence. It is not classical mysticism, but seeks a temporal let me read that again. This is important. Quote, transhumanism is a thrust towards transcendence. It is not classical mysticism, but seeks a temporal transcendence. The driving force behind this is evolution. What is reality? Reality is evolution. It has a direction from the simple to the complex. The most complex outcome is intelligence. Thus, evolution is aimed at intelligence. We should thus have a will to evolve. We have a moral responsibility to increase evolution and do so by continually striving to expand our abilities throughout life by acting in harmony with the evolutionary process. Science and technology move us forward toward utopia. One of the most exciting things about transhumanism is that all will be fixed, unquote. That all sounds alluring. That all sounds so alluring. After all, who wouldn't want to live in a utopia where everything that is currently wrong with our planet has been fixed? The most famous transhumanist on the globe, Ray Kurzweil, KurzweilAI.net, takes 150 vitamin supplements a day in an attempt to extend his life until more advanced life extension technology can be developed. In Chapter 7 of The Singularity is Near When Humans Transcend Biology, he expresses his belief that evolution and technology are systematically moving us in the direction of becoming more like God. Quote, evolution moves toward greater complexity, greater elegance, greater knowledge, greater intelligence, greater beauty, greater creativity, and greater levels of subtle attributes such as love. In every monotheistic tradition, God is likewise described as all of these qualities, only without any limitation. Infinite knowledge, infinite intelligence, infinite beauty, infinite creativity, infinite love, and so on. Of course, even the accelerating growth of evolution never achieves an infinite level, but as it explodes exponentially, it certainly moves rapidly in that direction. So, evolution moves inexorably toward this concept of God, though never quite reaching this ideal. We can regard, therefore, the freeing of our thinking from the severe limitations of its biological form to be an essentially spiritual undertaking, unquote. Transhumanist Mark Peace is even more extreme. He openly states that he believes that transhumanism will allow us to become as gods. Quote, men die, planets die, even stars die. We know all this because we know it. We seek something more, a transcendence of transience, translation into incorruptible form, an escape, if you will, a stop to the wheel. We seek, therefore, to bless ourselves with perfect knowledge and perfect will, to become as gods, take the universe in hand, and transform it in our image for our delight. As it is on earth, so shall it be in the heavens. The inevitable result of incredible improbability. The arrow of evolution is lipping us into the transhuman and apotheosis, to reason, salvation attained by good works, unquote. And what transhumanist Dr. Richard Seed has to say about all of this is quite frightening. He warns of quote-unquote warfare if anyone tries to prevent him from becoming God. See that video there? It's only 22 seconds. I'll put this up on the Free America Radio website. Up on the Facebook page, Free America Radio. If you want to get an idea of where transhumanists want to take us, I've said this before, just check out the YouTube video posted below. It was produced by the 2045 Initiative, and as you can see, they believe that the world will be infinitely superior in the year 2045 than it is today. So what do you think about all this? Let me tell you something, folks. Let me bottom line this for you. Let me just get down where the rubber meets the road, where you can understand this. They want to live forever, and they want to enslave us. Do you think that a person who has the position in a company that manufactures robot he's a supervisor in a robot plant is going to be happy because he's making pretty good money and taking care of his family? In some sense, he's right. But in the overall reality of it, he's nothing but a slave, just a higher-ranking slave in a system that has gone completely insane. Folks, transhumanists are dangerous people. Transhumanism is a dangerous philosophy. And robotic technology, developed to do good, has become, dark and complex. The way that we see the world today as a human being, we can walk out and tend to our gardens and mow the lawn, wash our cars, and we're happy, and we like that. But imagine having your consciousness, your every single bioelectrical system and programming uploaded into a computer and downloaded into an avatar. Think about it, folks. Go to 2045.com, 2045.com, and don't tell me, let me rephrase that. You tell me
what you think of that concept. And don't sit there and say, oh, this is all false, this would never happen, this is not happening, blah, blah, blah. It's happening as we speak, folks. I can't remember the professor's name in the college here. I think it's in Harvard or something like that, but it's a professor. He has had an implant in his arm where all he has to do is walk down the hallway and think about the light turning on, and the light turns on. Don't tell me it's not going to happen. Okay? Don't tell me it's not going to happen. Okay? I'll be in my 70s in 2045. Okay? Or 80s. No, I'll be in my 80s. I'll be 83 years old in 2045. Do I want to live forever? Do I want life extension technology? No. I want to be able to see the sun come up in the morning. I want to be able to sit on my front porch and enjoy reading a book, not be plugged into a Star Trek holodeck type of system and just live that way. Have you seen The Matrix? This stuff is out there, folks. This stuff is in your face. This stuff is right there in your backyard. And you're sitting there going, hey, what's on ESPN? Give me a beer. You don't really care? Then pack your crap and get the hell out of America. Because as far as the Patriots are concerned, as far as Brian Lang is concerned, as far as Bob Brutus and myself and Nick Tucker and others like us, as far as we're concerned, we're kicking some ass. We already know their names. We don't have to take them. We're just going to go out and defend this country the best we can. And Brian Lang is going to be in Washington, D.C., and live video footage, hopefully, will be on wakingupthemasses.com. But other than that, folks, if you can't make it to Washington, D.C. in a couple of days, do it in your own backyard. Go to your city councils, go to your city halls, go to your state capitol, and protest there. First thing, protest the tyranny. Protest against the tyranny in this country. Secondly, protest against Monsanto. Third, protest against the RFID and the NDAA and whatever else you can think of. You go out there and rock their world. You make them come out and see just how powerful we the people are, because I guarantee you once they see it, they won't be able to do anything about it. Look what happened at Bundy Ranch, Bunkerville, Nevada. The militia was out there, the citizens' militia, constitutionally protecting the protesters that were out there and the Bundy family. And anybody that tells you otherwise, if this Horsford, who is one of the representatives down in that area, says otherwise, he is lying. He is nothing but a piece of crap lying to you on every single element of that protest down there. And by the way, Larry Klayman, an attorney, and the Bundys have filed a massive lawsuit against the federal government, against the BLM, against the Sheriff Douglas Gillespie, and against Horsford himself. This is going to play out well in front of the mainstream media, isn't it? Your local news, your state-run media, they're all lying to you. What part, I've been asked. I was watching a news program once, and I was asked, well, how are they lying? Are they lying about that? They showed it. Are they lying? No.
they put it out there. They show you what's going on, but they have their own spin because they have to stand on they have to, support their agenda that they have. So they put the news out there, but they spin it when they give their, comments or whatever. You can read it in the paper. You can read it in the articles. You can hear it. Rachel Maddow and Ed Schultz and Chris Matthews and all that, they're just insane. They don't have personal agendas. They got leashes on them. And the powers that be are pulling on those leashes. If they get too far over the line, they yank them back and say, no, you're going to say this. You just stay here in this corral and you tell the people what we want them to know. I listen to everybody. I listen to Sean Hannity. I listen to Michael Savage. I listen to Rush Limbaugh sometimes when I can. He's on when another program is on that I listen to. I listen to Glenn Beck. And what part of what he says is not true? Is he a neocon? Did somebody look at or hear what he had to say and say, well, that's a bunch of crap. I'm not going to listen to him anymore. Well, how about listening to everything after he said that? How about listening to Sean Hannity? How about listening to these people instead of, bitching and complaining about them that they're not, opening up and telling you exactly what you want to know? Because they have leashes on them, people. Why do you think Glenn Beck left CNN or HLN over on the CNN? Headline News. He went to Fox. And then he just, and then he got just a little too close to the line, and then he crossed it, and then they looked at him and said, your services are no longer needed here. So then he created theblaze.com. Is it all connected? Is it all working for the benefit of the people? Are all those people telling the truth? I don't know. That's something you're going to have to figure out. I'm not going to give you the silver platter answer. I know from my perspective that I need to listen to what they have to say to assess the situation and what they're talking about in a way that I can understand it so that I can decide whether or not it's true. You got to do that too, because I'm not going to, you're on the merry-go-round looking for the brass ring. I'm not going to hand it to you. You're going to have to go out and figure it out yourself. I am done with stupid people. You're going to be ignorant. You're going to talk to me like I'm stupid. Go away. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. You're going to argue with me and try to lie to me and try to spin all your, personal self-deluded bull crap and have your own agenda, and you're going to try to argue with me? No. Bye. Have a nice day. When you have information, do you not think it's best to give that information to the people that it will help? Right? Then why are you arguing with me? Why not you take that information, figure it out yourself, take my information, use it, try to find the right thing, look for yourself, examine it. What is true for you is true for you. What you will believe is what you will believe because you observed it and researched it. You don't have to tell me anything. You can just say, I disagree with you because, and here's this. That's okay. You don't have to scream, holler, jump up and down and do 7 cartwheels and come down the come down the fireman pole and start kicking your feet up in the air and saying that I'm wrong. All you got to do is just say, you know what, I disagree with you and here's why. Because mama didn't raise no fool. That's how I work. If I disagree with somebody, I go, well, here's why I disagree with you. But I'm done with stupid people. You're not gonna play the game, then go away, have fun, enjoy, bye-bye, and hope you watch your football game. Folks, I'm out of here. Thank you, Bob Brutus. WakingUpTheMasses.com. Go check out his show, Kicking the Capstone. In the meantime, folks, I'll be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. FreeAmericaRadio.us, FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. We the people have the power, for we are America.